I said that it can literally save your life. I was telling a group of people of a study that was conducted. Dr. Larry Darcy, who wrote a book called Recovering the Soul, he said human beings are the only living species that has achieved the dubious distinction of dying or having a stroke or a heart attack on a certain day. If you ask most people, what would you say the primary cause of why people would have a heart attack or stroke? Many people will say, well, because they smoke cigarettes, or because of high cholesterol, or because of stress, or because of obesity. And all of those things are contributing factors. But ladies and gentlemen, more heart attacks take place in this country on Monday morning between 8 and 9 a.m. That's when the majority of people who have their first heart attacks have them. 85% of the American public, according to recent studies, are going to jobs that they hate, working on jobs that do not challenge them. They get sick thinking about going. Migraine headaches. After the Sunday afternoon football game or 60 minutes, the anxiety began to build. And come Monday morning, they drop dead of a broken heart. Some of you ought to think about not going to work on Monday. Think about it. People are literally dying to go to work. I had a saying when I was in radio, stand up for what you believe in because you can fall for anything. Well, Joe didn't believe in very much, including himself and his dreams, see? So he was very vulnerable. And so Joe was set up by this doctor. This doctor told him that he had a rare disease and he had 6 months to live. This disease was called a brain cloud. Oh, Kadumbo Joe went for it. He believed it. But you know something? It changed his life. It changed his life. And so he was told, look here, you don't have long to live anyhow. The guy said, why don't you do this? I'm going to give you all my credit cards, and this way you can live like a king, and there's something I want you to do. There was a catch. There's a volcano on an island that's about to erupt, and unless somebody jumps in that volcano, sacrifice their life, these people on this island will perish. Well, your life isn't worth much if you don't have that long anyhow. So why don't you take my credit cards, all my American Express, MasterCharge, take all of them, go live like a king, and die like a man. Joe said, okay. What did he have to lose? He was going to die anyhow. And his life didn't have any meaning and value to him as it was. So this was no big sacrifice on Joe's behalf. Now that says something about us, people, human beings, that when you have not structured your life so that it can have some meaning and value for you, that you'll be willing to throw your life away into anything. See, the volcano could be alcohol. It could be drugs. It could be a job that does not meet who you are. That you go through life, you're doing it so long, you're operating in this and you're acting out that role of mediocrity for so long, you think it's you. It could be a relationship that's no longer giving you what you want and creating dis-ease in your body. It could be any kind of circumstance, like in his work environment. It was toxic. It wasn't good for him. But he didn't have the guts to do anything about it, to act on it. So therefore, it was making him miserable. And as a result, he couldn't see the beauty of life. In fact, in the movie, see, they had in the concrete, there was a daisy growing up through the concrete. But people were so caught up in the depression and the gloominess of life, they couldn't even see the daisies when somebody just stepped on it one day. They couldn't see the beauty in life. See, that's what can happen to you in life, that you can get so caught up in the misery of it and the pain and the sickness and the depression and playing a victim and blaming everybody and everything rather than taking responsibility. It will blind you from seeing the stuff out there that's really beautiful.
I know people that are perfectly healthy, but they're never really happy. It's always something bothering them. They want a bigger house or a better job. But if they were to lose their health and then regain it, I'm sure they would be thrilled. They have what they need to be happy. Keep the right perspective. Every one of us has something even right now to be happy about. Our health, our job, our family, and opportunity.
I want you to repeat after me. I am in control of my life. I am powerful beyond my imagination. I am limitless in my potential. I have control of my life. I will choose to be great because I am great. I have greatness inside me. I am powerful beyond measure. I am more powerful than other people give me credit for. I am more powerful than I currently believe. But I will achieve greatness. I am in control of my mind. I am in control of my thoughts. I am in control of my life. I get to choose whatever I want, and I choose greatness.
I kept my job at McKinley, and part-time I started in the financial services industry and started to build a team of people and started to get my licenses and that transition, and I struggled like every upstart entrepreneur does.
Well, it takes like 3 to 5 years until you really get a few clients, you know.
In any business, I don't care if it's financial services, tech, dry cleaners, entrepreneurs, the first 5 years is just full of false starts. You get it going, then you don't. You get it going, you take a step forward, you take 3 back. It's constant false starts. It's constantly thinking you have it going. It's constantly negotiating in your mind the price you're paying. Is it worth it? Should I quit? Should I give in? I spent the first 5 years daily contemplating quitting. All the time.
Because it's not fun.
It wasn't fun. And there's just a part of you, I think, in anything you're doing when you're struggling, is this really for me? Is this my destiny? Should I be doing this? And we misread failure from some sign. You know, is this a sign I shouldn't be doing it? You know, is this a sign I am, not cut out for this? Instead of looking for signs that you can win, right? And so I spent the first 5 years literally trying to find ways to quit, trying to find ways to get out, struggling. And I went broke. I lost a car. I had the water turned off in my place. I bought my first house. I ended up having it foreclosed on eventually. So I'm not that house with the unicorns that you saw, right? Or my beach place. Like that's all the after. People don't realize that there were just years and years of grinding and struggling and worrying in the beginning. And then I made some mental changes and some shifts that altered my life then again.
You have to have an emotional investment in what you're doing. If you don't love what you're doing, failure is pretty much guaranteed. Success is not guaranteed by any means, but failure is much more likely if you don't love what you're doing.
Your life would feel better and richer if you had a goal, you chased that goal, you accomplished some things, you would get this boost of confidence, you get this boost of self-esteem, like whatever it is that you're into doing. Maybe you're into drawing comic books, maybe you're into making pottery or sculptures, but find whatever the that is and pursue that instead of doing nothing.
Once you're in the company and once you're, dedicating your blood, sweat, tears, and life to a company, you have to be able to evaluate whether or not this company actually cares about you or not. All right? You've got to make that decision on your own. And you've got to make the decision on if they're telling the truth. And what's the easiest way to tell if someone's telling the truth? Pay attention to their actions. Pay attention to their history. Do they show a history of growth? Do they show a history of telling the truth? Do they show a history of taking care of their employees? Or are they just blowing a bunch of bullshit up your ass so they can get you in their system for 6 years or a year or 2 years and let you just pour in all your hard sweat and labor? Because I think that as a CEO, this is something that I feel like most employees are concerned with and what holds them back from giving their all, okay? And when you don't give your all, it doesn't matter what position or what company you're with, you're not going to be successful. And what I've seen happen many, many times is that people lose trust in a company, so they don't give their all, and then the company says, hey, you're a shitty worker, and then they get fired. Okay, it's a vicious cycle that people get into. So what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is that if you're picking the right company, you should feel good about going all in for that company, knowing that in the next 10 to 15 years, you're going to have a legitimate, well-paying, important, valuable part of that company. And if you don't see yourself doing that in 10, 15 years with a company, you're in the wrong company. All right? I'm trying to get you to avoid the vicious cycle of being an employee that goes every 3 years, gets frustrated and quits. All right? Pick the right company from the get-go.